All right, so welcome to the launch training. This is going to be great, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right away, and we will get rolling. All right. All right, so here we go. Let's just, most of you know me, some of you not so much, so just a little bit about me. This is a picture of myself and my husband, Gary, and our daughter, Whitney. We live in northern Wisconsin, and it's kind of like small town life up here, but we love it. And I never in a million years thought that I would be doing this, that I would be teaching people about oils and involved in a network marketing business. But I have to tell you, I absolutely love it. I love being able to help others be all around healthier and happier. And what I've loved more than anything is helping people on my team and reaching their goals, really whatever they are. And my goal really is to change people's perception of network marketing, because I do firmly believe that there's a way to do this with integrity and with authenticity that leaves a good taste in people's mouths. So who is this training for? It's for anybody who has fallen in love with their oils and wants to tell others about them, maybe isn't sure how, and wants to keep their friends, relationships, and sanity intact. So my goal is to help people love their oils and share their oils with people in a way so that people don't avoid you or cross to the other side of the street or move to the other side of a room. That's what I'm trying to work with people so that doesn't happen. What doesn't matter? You might be thinking, oh, I don't know if I should be here. So the size of your goal doesn't matter. And maybe you don't have a goal yet, and that's great. Maybe you're just figuring this all out, and you are so welcome to be here. But let's say maybe your goal is, $50 a month, or, money to get a pedicure for yourself every month. And maybe it's bigger. Maybe it's a mortgage or a car payment, or even bigger than that. That does not matter. All are welcome here, and there is no wrong answer. And also, it doesn't really matter if you're brand new or if you're what I would call a seasoned veteran. Again, it's for everybody here. Or if you're thinking of sharing oils full-time or part-time. None of those things matter. This is good for anybody. This is for you at the end of the day. So this, I call my group of people who are sharing oils my fierce leaders. And let's just talk a little bit about what our team culture is like. So we are on a mission to give people a positive experience with network marketing. And I mentioned this before, and I realize I don't anticipate that I can change everybody's perception, but if I can change even one person's, I would feel really good about that. We lead with our hearts, and we lead with service, and we are committed to authenticity and integrity. Our philosophy is customer first, team second, and me and my ego third. And I think you'll see that throughout this training. My hope is that you would see that. And the other thing is that we admit it when we blow it, and we aren't afraid to ask for forgiveness. When I did this on Sunday night, it's true. Like I so wish that I had been able to do this for so many of you months and months ago. But here we are, and we're figuring it out. So we also think it's important to say, hey, I blew it. And I just, this whole discussion is really, wouldn't mean anything if it weren't for these amazing oils, right? How many of us got them, experienced them, and were blown away, totally blown away. And now we're kind of in this position of oh my gosh, I know so many people who this might help. And now what? So if it weren't for the oils and literally the life-changing abilities that they have, there wouldn't be much for us to talk about. So let's not forget why we're all here. Maybe you've got something diffusing to remind you, but it's the oils that are amazing. And I know this is kind of a funny picture of me, but I just want you to know that you will not experience pressure from me. I know where I'm going, and I'm simply offering an invitation to you to join me on this crazy, wonderful journey. So like I said at the beginning of the training, I am glad you're here, and I hope that you find that this is worth your time. The agenda for today. So in part one, I want to just talk about some baggage. We all know we have it. And I want to lay some groundwork for what we're going to be talking about. And then we're going to talk about the sales assembly line. And I have a wonderful volunteer on this call who's going to help me demo a sales conversation. And part two, we're going to break down the sales assembly line piece by piece so you can see how it works. So you can learn each new skill. And we'll do a Q&A, and we'll also talk about action items. Okay? Okay, so baggage everywhere. That's how I feel most of the times when I enter. Sometimes this isn't true, and that's great. But when I talk about network marketing or sales with people, people have a lot of baggage, or somebody they love has a lot of baggage that you're carrying for them. So let's just talk about this. Let's deal with this a little bit. Well, and I also want to say really quickly that this is like a whole nother conversation that I would be really happy to have with anybody, that the not only the culture of our team is unique, but the culture of doTERRA is very unique, and that it's, yes, they use the network marketing model to get oils into people's homes, because sitting knee to knee with people and explaining oils is like the best way. I think we've all experienced that. But they are not what you would consider a traditional network marketing model. So that's a whole nother discussion. I'm happy to have that with anyone. I'm not really going into that here. So sales, why don't you guys go ahead and if you're brave enough, unmute yourself and share something. When you hear the word sales, what's something that you think of?
Pressure to buy something.
Mm-hmm. Pressure for sure. I love this picture because we've all either, whatever, we can laugh about this. So here are some words that I feel like people think of with sales. They think of it being manipulative, high pressure. Brenda said that. Icky, maybe it just doesn't feel good. I have a lot of people say, oh, I could never do that. I could never sell something or be a salesperson. And we talk a lot about the used car salesman. And Brenda was talking to me about this yesterday. So this is a real person who was kind of annoying. But so whether you've ever interacted with the used car salesman or not, I think it's not super fair to let this person define what we're going to do. So, but these are the things we think of, right? So sales is not selling products to somebody who doesn't need them, or convincing somebody to buy something they can't afford. Some people say it's like selling ice to an Eskimo, and it's not like that either. What is it? It's learning, like this is the model it's learning about people and connecting with them, learning about their goals and their problems, and then offering them a product that will help them reach their goals and solve their problems. I know that if literally like an oil would help, it doesn't matter if you're 1 second old or 99 years old, or whether you're female or male, none of that matters. An oil would be helpful to you. So I, on that premise, can wholeheartedly say, yes, let me tell you about this because this will really help you. There's 3 types of salespeople. The first is an unethical salesperson. This is whoever he was a used car salesman. And in true reality, it's a very small percentage. And every industry has unethical people. So I don't think it's totally fair that we just they say that all salespeople are unethical or treat it that way. It doesn't have to be it that way. And then you have the untrained salesperson. And this is the majority. And this is what I would have considered myself. You don't like to think of yourself as a salesperson because you have baggage when it comes to sales. So you never take the time to learn how to do it well. And the sad part about this is that it ends up contributing to the bad image even more. So by trying not to be a salesperson, it's like this weird like thing where we end up being the salesperson. So that's the untrained salesperson. And third is the trusted advisor. This is what we're going for here. We care about people, we're sincere and kind, and we help people solve their problems. And communication is so important, that we communicate well. And service, I know I mentioned this, but service is so key. We really are serving people. So obviously, which one do we want to be? We want to be the trusted advisor, and you can be. These are what I'm going to show you are skills that can be learned. You don't learn to play classical music overnight, and I'm not saying this is as hard as learning how to play classical music, but you can learn these skills and implement them when you're sharing oils with people, and you will be amazed at how effectively you're going to be able to care for them. So this is what we're going to do today. I feel like there's a little bit more baggage that we have to deal with closing. People get a little sweaty when I talk about closing, so I want to redefine this. Closing is simply helping somebody move forward with a decision they already want to make. Okay, that's what it is. Whether that decision is a yes or a no, you're going to move them forward so that you then know, is it a yes or a no, and you can move forward appropriately in that relationship. What we're typically used to is reactive closing. And what this looks like, especially in the doTERRA world, is sampling somebody, following up, sampling them again, inviting them to a class, inviting them again, inviting them again. They finally come, following up, on and on and on. And you either like burn out that person out of your genuine attempt to care for them and help them get oils. And sometimes it does come to fruition, but this is a pretty long, drawn-out process. And then you end up being in this position where you're trying to react to their objections. So maybe they're like, I just can't afford it. And you're trying to be like, well, think about how much you spend on coffee each day and save that for a month. And you need to be highly skilled to do this well. And I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy this one bit. So what we're going to focus on is proactive closing. And this means that we're going to understand why people don't buy, and we're going to proactively address these issues before they come up, so we don't end up on the defense feeling pressury. So why selling on the fly doesn't work? I want you to picture yourself in one of these scenarios. I'm like, this is my phase of life over here. So coffee with friends or kids or something, but whatever it might be, picture yourself in an environment where somebody that you know or that you don't know turns to you and says, hey, tell me about that oil you're using, or something like that. And what do you do? What typically have we done? I mean, if you want to unmute yourself, there's some pretty good stories here, but go ahead and share what that feels like when you're out and about and somebody's like, oh, tell me about an oil. Somebody's got to have a good story. I've got so many of these of how I've blown it. I feel like, so let's say we're at, this happened the other day. I was at a story hour with Whitney, and oils came up. And like, without the skills that I'm about to teach you, what I typically would have done is like, I don't know, pull out a sample, you pull out like a book, you're like, I've got this app, I've got this. And then not only is that whole group of people kind of staring at you like you're the crazy oil lady, but you, again, genuinely wanted to help them, but probably overwhelmed them. And it all just went off not super great. So we're going to talk about how not to sell on the fly. And I just, to just further drive this point home, could you imagine if like you were at some kind of a gathering and there was a lawyer there and you were like, hey, I have a question for you about something legal. And he like literally whipped out a briefcase and paperwork and started having you like do stuff right then and there. Like, people don't do that. And what I really want to encourage you is that we should act like professional, so that, and I feel like by acting professional, it helps us compartmentalize what we're doing and keep our friendships and keep our love of oils without having a really messy mix. So we'll talk about how not to sell on the fly, but I'm kind of over this. I'm working on being done with this because I don't think that it serves the customer doesn't feel cared for. That's for sure. Sampling. Okay, so this is a little controversial because we all have been taught to sample. And I think that perhaps there's a time and a place, but I find that when I give a sample of oils to somebody, either they want just one oil, and then for the next 8 months, I hear why they're sad that they don't have frankincense because they didn't see the value of a kit. So they don't see the value ultimately. And I also feel like when you offer somebody a free sample, sometimes they feel obligated to take it, and you don't really know if they wanted it or not. So you could start following up and reaching out, and you could unknowingly become that person who is kind of badgering without meaning to be. So I feel like this starts that reactive closing process. So I am putting a halt on sampling because I don't feel like it serves the customer first, team second, me and my ego third philosophy well. And lastly, just a little groundwork, appointments versus classes. I think there's a time and a place for a class. And I personally, though, find that it's much easier to really, if we're going to be like really focusing on caring for people and helping them with their specific situations, your ability to personalize in an appointment is going to be significantly higher than it would be if you're in a room with even 5 people. So I really have grown to love doing appointments with people, just setting up dates, because I find it to be easier to care for them better. And I also, in my stage of life, love not having to clean up a house or, find a babysitter or whatever. Appointments have just been, they're more low key, and I feel like they serve our purpose of caring for people better. So I talked about the sales assembly line, and so these are the different skills that we're going to learn as part of the sales assembly line. So we're going to learn how to set an appointment, and then once you're in that appointment, how to give an agenda, how to gather input and learn about their goals. We're going to learn how to share the company story, explain and personalize product, to close, set their follow-up appointment, and ask for referrals. I think that when you look at this all broken down, it might feel big, but it really is pretty efficient and very effective at helping people. And this image on the right here, I know is funny, but it's from I Love Lucy, when they're trying, the assembly line has been broken and they're trying to make up for that. So my advice to you, if you are a seasoned veteran and you have been maybe sampling and reactive closing, I would encourage you that I would give yourself a fresh start. That doesn't mean don't care for those people that you've been caring for. Continue to care for them. But it might be kind of hard to go back and restart the assembly line once it's been broken. So my goal is to help more people start off with a very smooth running assembly line so that they feel more confident, and people at the end of the day are getting those oils into their hands that are going to change. It's like change everything. Okay. Okay. So we're going to get ready for a live demo here. And what I'm going to do first, I'm going to stop this share. Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts based on what we've shared so far?
I just think it's really great to do the one-on-one thing. I think I've been in sales past for a career. It was 100 years ago before kids, but it was always my intention to have that genuine connection with people, and never really had the opportunity to do that. It was always standing up in front of a group of people talking and feeling like you left them all with a little bit of something, but not enough of anything to get them to feel more confident about what I was trying to sell them. So I love the idea of a one-on-one where you can just really dig deep and have that genuine connection with people and feel like when both of us leave the interaction, we've both done something that we wanted to do. They feel cared for. I feel like I cared for them, rather than, I wish I had done more. I don't feel like I got my point across, that sort of thing. So really look forward to the one-on-one kind of thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Brenda.
Brenda and I were out for coffee last week, or was that this week, Brenda? And the lady at the coffee shop approached both of us because there was a doTERRA box on the table.
Yep.
That's what happens. I love that. Yeah. I feel like, well, you can see in my Facebook post that Whitney won't let go of her oils. And so we set appointments everywhere we go. And it's like, I'm not doing that on purpose, but it's part of when you have them with you, it does happen. It's just kind of where we're at. But it's kind of a funny thing. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So Brenda and I are going to demo what a sales conversation looks like. So, and I want you to just like kind of experience this. And I want you to like put yourself in Brenda's shoes as the customer and be like, what does this feel like as a customer? You know, how would I feel about what's happening? And then you can put yourself in my shoes too, as somebody who's sharing oils. What does that feel like? So I just like kind of reflect on that. And we're going to do this pretty candidly. It won't be perfect, but that's real life. So she's got her coffee. I've got my tea. It's like we're sitting at a coffee shop, hanging out. We've caught up a little bit, and basically then we're just going to get started and we're going to go. Okay. All right. So Brenda, I've been really looking forward to this. The most important thing today is to find out what you want to know about oils and your health goals, because I don't want to bore or overwhelm you with information. We'll talk about doTERRA. We'll talk about the most popular oils. As I said, when we set this up, you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you'd like, I can help you get it. And it'll probably take about 30 minutes. So what are some things you for sure want us to go over today?
Well, I don't really know what they are. I have a couple of friends that I know have used oils now and then. I don't know where they get them from. They seem to be getting some results from them. But it seems like everywhere I go, I see them. And it makes me question, how can I see them at the dollar store and then see them at Kohl's and see them everywhere I go? And there's different price points. They're all different manufacturers. I don't know how to decide what might be the right one to try for my family.
I love that. We will definitely address that. Are there certain health goals that either you have or anybody in your family that you're like, hey, I wonder if an oil could help with this?
I think I have two teenage boys. I think they're the ones that come to mind first. We're dealing with, acne stuff. We're dealing with high school and the pressure of all of those different changes going on with them. So there's some anxiety issues. I think focus is something else that I would be interested in knowing if you have anything to help with that, because they've got crazy schedules. And so when they do have time to sit down with homework, they need to be kind of in the zone when they're doing that.
Awesome. Anything for you? Do you get to take care of yourself?
Geez, that's not the first thing that comes to mind, but if you want to go ahead and get started as you're talking, maybe I can think of some things that would work for me too.
Maybe something will come up. Okay, great. So tell me what you already know about doTERRA. Do you know anything about doTERRA?
I really don't. I've heard the name before, but again, you hear so many and see so many, I don't really know the difference.
Okay, so great. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So doTERRA is basically the largest essential oil company, and what they love to do is help families find natural solutions for their everyday lives. People like you turn to doTERRA when they're tired of using chemicals for literally everything. They are not getting the health, like achieving the results in their health that they want. They feel like they're totally overwhelmed by all the options, and they are overwhelmed by researching it all. And they just kind of want to find a more natural way to do things. So doTERRA has all different kinds of kits that would meet each family's specific needs depending on where they're at. So their oils are the most tested and trusted oils on the market. This can be seen in their partnerships with 120 research facilities and universities, one of those being Johns Hopkins. So I really appreciate what they're doing behind the scenes and the testing and the sourcing. And I also think they have phenomenal customer service. If you purchase something and you're not satisfied, you can return it within 30 days and get 100% to spend on something else, or 90% returned back to your card.
Cool.
Great. I'm going to give you a brief overview on what oils are since you're newer and the 3 ways to use them. So this is like real life here really quick. I'm not actually going to do that because I know you all know how to use oils, unless somebody really wants me to do that portion. You can raise your hand. It's okay, but we're good. Okay. So, just really briefly, what oils are the 3 ways? All of us could do that. Okay, so now I want to talk about some of the most popular products and how they would be really helpful to you. So you mentioned that sometimes your boys are like, there's a lot going on. Sometimes they feel anxious. So lavender is going to be like your best friend. So you would just take this oil and you could diffuse it at home when you felt like you needed to create a calming environment, or you could give it to them to take to school and they could apply some behind their ears and on their wrists, or like sniff it secretly in the bathroom if they didn't want anybody to know they were using oils. But that will be really helpful for them as they're transitioning. And maybe you could sneak some and use it for sleep. You would just put a little maybe on your pillowcase and you would have an amazing night's sleep with that.
Great.
Okay, awesome.
When I think of lavender, I think it might smell kind of girly, for lack of a better way to say it. So, putting it behind their ears may not be really great. Do you have another suggestion for boys?
Yeah, totally. They could put it on the bottoms of their feet, or honestly, they can take it in a veggie capsule. They could take it internally if they wanted to eliminate the odor altogether.
Perfect.
That's a good question. Yeah, our boys, we got to be careful with that, right? Okay, you also mentioned focus. So for them, one of their best friends, and this is a more manly oil, would be peppermint. So again, they could just keep that bottle with them at school, and to just smell out of that bottle is going to be amazing. They could put a drop in their hands and rub it on the back of their necks, breathe it in. It's actually really effective at helping, like during study time, retain information and things like that. So they will love that. And do you feel like your boys are really good at getting out of bed in the morning?
No, you're right. You're right. It would help with that too.
Yeah, so they could, again, maybe some by the bedside or in the bathroom, and just a sniff of that in the morning, or diffusing that, and you are going to have easier morning transitions with them.
Fantastic.
Yes, I love that. And the other thing you talked about was skin support and things like that. So your lavender would be really helpful for that. You could apply that topically. And the other oil that I love that is so cleansing is Melaleuca. And so this, again, is a manly smelling oil, so they won't mind, but they could take some of that and apply that topically to their face, maybe add it to the routine that they're already doing, or apply that right on, and that will really help clear their skin up.
Terrific. Now, is that the last thing they would put on, or when would you put that on? Do they cleanse first? How does that work?
If I were them, I would probably cleanse first and then apply it, or they could even add it to their cleanser. They could add it to what they're using. I would do whatever is convenient enough that they'll actually do it.
That's fantastic. I'm not sure why I said cleanse. To be honest with you, I can't get them to do much of anything, let alone cleanse their skin too. So if this is something that could just, how do you apply it? Put it on your finger? Is there a more convenient way that they could do it?
I would either just put it on my finger, or I will show you how to get empty roller bottles, and you could, it's sometimes really convenient to just have something that you can roll on.
Perfect. Okay.
Awesome. So time out. Then I would go through the basic 10 oils. So we did lavender, Melaleuca, and peppermint, lemon. I would talk through those and just share with her how she could use them for her family. So again, you guys are all pretty familiar with that, but that's kind of what that section looks like. Okay. Okay, great. So now I'm going to show you or tell you about our two most popular kits. The first is the Family Essentials Kit, and this comes with the 10 oils we talked about, smaller bottles, about 88 drops of each oil, and that's 150. The other popular kit is the Home Essentials Kit, and this comes with those same 10 oils, but bigger bottles. You get about 250 drops of each oil and a diffuser, and this one is 275. If you were to choose one of those, which one would you prefer? Which makes more sense for you and your family?
Remind me again the two price points.
150 and 275.
At this point, not having had the chance to try them, I think I would probably move towards the $150 kit.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let me tell you about my first appointment special. You had mentioned.
Well, you know what, Amy? I'm sorry for interrupting. Is there any other kit that would maybe do some of the same things, or is that $150 kit really the only one that would work?
What we could do, I'd be happy to do with you, are like, what oils stood out to you the most out of the ones that we talked about?
Like the one that works for acne, I think I don't remember the name, that big name that you used. I think that would be one of the first priorities. And then the anxiety, whatever you were saying for anxiety, the calming one, the lavender one, as long as I can put that somewhere else on the kids, I think that would be good too.
So we can price that out. When you do even those 2 bottles of oil, it's probably going to be about $60, $70. So for 2 bottles, you'll pay that much, but for all 10, you would get the Family Essentials kit with all those oils. So it's up to you ultimately how you want to do it. But that's kind of how my brain works, like two oils for about $70 or 10 for 150 kind of a thing. So that's up to you. Does one of those make more sense to you?
Well, it does. Can I take those home today? I'd really love to have something I could take today.
If you get a kit today, I will definitely send you home with something that you can start using today. And it's super convenient. Your kit will ship right to you in like just a couple of days, and you'll be ready to go, and we'll sit down and we'll go over your new things. So how does that sound? Does that sound like a good fit?
That sounds like a great fit.
Okay, awesome. So we'll get that order written up. So what I like to do is, like I said, when your oils come, to sit down and just like show you how to use them, show you how to use your account, stuff like that. So would next week on like Thursday or Friday around 11, would either of those days work for you?
Yeah, actually Thursday would be great.
Okay, so we'll make a date for that. And there's just one last thing. Well, did you find that this was helpful? Did you enjoy this?
It's great. I'm really excited. As you were talking about the other oils, I was thinking, I guess I do have some things that I would like to use them for. So I'm really excited to have 10 bottles of different oils to experiment with.
Good. So there's just one last thing that you could do that would help me out. My goal is just to help as many people as possible improve their lives with essential oils. I love being able to take the vagueness out of oils and sit down with people and say, like, this is how it could really work. So I love being able to meet with people. I'm looking for people who care about their health and believe that quality is important. And all I would do is reach out and ask if they just spare an hour of time to meet with me, and that they don't have to buy anything, but just that we could connect. So do you have anybody that kind of fits that description, or that you think would find something like this helpful?
You know what? The one person that came to mind, I don't know that you could really help. She lives in Connecticut, and a lot of the things that you said would really work for her, but unfortunately, I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, so I can do this over the phone, or using what we're using, we can Zoom or use technology. So if you want to go ahead and share her information with me, is there like a certain time of day that's better to connect with her, or a certain way that she likes to be contacted?
Actually, she's kind of great with all of this technology stuff. That might be perfect. So if you want to text her ahead of time and let her know that you and I talked, or I can do that too. She probably would like to do something that would work with technology. That'd be great.
Okay, awesome. So you can let her know, and I can reach out to her and just offer, and she can take it or leave it. It's no big deal.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, guys. So that was like the whole thing. So if you guys want to go ahead, and how do you think like Brenda felt throughout that? Like from a customer perspective, what are your thoughts on what an appointment like that would feel like? Silence. Do you think that Brenda felt overwhelmed? No. Do you think that she felt cared for?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like, so we'll talk maybe about this later, but my goal is that no matter what, whether Brenda's answer was yes or no or whatever, that she would have felt really cared for, and like, hey, I had a really nice time connecting with Amy or whoever it might be. Because that's the goal. I mean, we will get no's, and that's fine, but we will get a lot of yeses too. But if they walk away feeling like, hey, she really cared for me, I mean, that's it. That's a win.
I think one of the things I really loved, Amy, is that instead of you saying, well, here's what I use, or it was about me, it was about the kids, and you kept trying to bring me back in, even though I was making it about the kids, which a lot of moms do. And saying, you know what, it's okay for you to use these too. There's things that would help you be a better mom with the kids while you're treating the kids. So I think that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm. And do you guys feel like on my end, like that was difficult or hard to do, or did that feel like, nah, I could probably do that?
I think it would be easier to do a one-on-one than the class portion or whatever. And I only know from Brenda asking me to come to 1 million classes before I signed up. I couldn't. I mean, I have 2 kids. Mm-hmm. So making an appointment and sitting down at, 7:30 in the morning or whenever I don't have children activities is much easier.
Yes. That is so very true. I mean, people are busy. I'm busy. You're all busy. People are busy. So to do all that effort for a class time and get it all set up and to have nobody come sometimes happens, and that's okay. It doesn't always happen, but that's a lot of work that doesn't feel very fun. Okay.
Well, and I also think that when you do a group setting, you know, we can be friends with people, but there's certain things that you really might not want to say that you've got an issue with. I don't care how close you are to some people, that there might be things that you don't want to share. And I think it's really great to be able to feel confident enough to say that in a one-on-one interaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really true. People who have had babies before, we can talk about all sorts of things in coffee dates. Let me tell you, there's all sorts of things that come out. So, so I wanted you guys to see that. I hope that you felt like that showed the philosophy, customer first, like that she felt cared for, team second, in that I could probably say to anybody, like any one of you are capable of doing that, and me and my ego third. So that is an overview of that. And what we'll do right now is we'll just like take a minute for you guys to freshen your beverage, use the restroom. It's 10:10. Why don't we hop back on at is 3 minutes enough time? Like 10:13? Do you want 10:15? Or how are we all doing? How about I ask that? How are we all doing? Should we keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again then. And we'll get started with part 2. So you didn't see me set an appointment. We'll talk about that. But you saw me do the agenda. You saw me learn about Brenda's goals. I shared about doTERRA. I personalized the product to her. I closed. I set up the follow appointment, and I asked for referrals. So we're going to break down each one of these skills, and I want to let you know, so what I'm about to give in each slide is a script. It is a script for each one of these portions, because some of you, for your first few appointments, might set them up with people you know and love and literally read from the script, and that's fine, because you'll get it, and you won't have to do that forever. And the other thing I want to say is you don't want to lose, I think I have a slide about this. Sorry. I want you to see it broken down and what that looks like. And the goal is to take these scripts and to write your own, to put it in a way that makes sense to you. But I just want to encourage you, don't lose the essence of the different components. But if you need to tweak some things, be like, hey, that sounds more like me, then I think that's totally appropriate. And I would fully anticipate that you would. And if you're the kind of person that needs to just print off the script and do that with some people that you love and that know you well for a couple of times, then by all means, that's totally fine. Okay, so in order to have an appointment, you need to set an appointment. So let's talk about what that could look like. So let's just pretend I'm talking to a friend. I know this is out of the blue, and I wanted to get your thoughts on something. I'm starting to set up appointments with people to teach them about essential oils, and as part of my learning process, I'm trying to set up appointments with people I know so I can get comfortable. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. My part will take about 30 minutes, and I'm just going to go over what things you would want to know about and some of the most popular products. Would you be willing to help me out? We can do it over technology or in person. Which do you think would be better for you? I've got 2 appointments left this week. We can do Thursday or Friday. Which works better for you? Great. So how the heck are you? Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. What are some common reasons that people don't set appointments with you? Well, they might not know that you set them. They might think that they have to buy something. They might not know how long it's going to take, so they don't want to do it. So things like that are what hold people back. So if you say flat out to somebody, you don't have to buy anything. My part takes 30 minutes. This is exactly what I'm going to do. Are you interested? That is proactive. That is saying, I know that you're uncertain because you think that I'm this crazy person. So let's take this out with just a couple of really simple sentences so we can take your defenses down a little bit. It's really important to give them the option of in-person or technology or phone, whatever. I really love using Zoom, but you can use anything. And I want you to notice how at the end, rather than saying what time works best for you and just leaving it completely open, to give people options, 2 options. Because if you just leave it completely open, it tends to be hard to actually make it come to fruition. And you'll see that the last line of this script is like, you know, how the heck are you? And what I want that to demonstrate is that when you, I'm learning that out of my insecurity about oils, I would often wait to bring it up. I would wait to say something about oils. And in doing so, I felt like I was doing a good thing, but probably from their perception, it probably looked a little sneaky, which is not what I intended it to be, but it could have come off that way. So instead, let's just name it. I know this is out of the blue, and you talk about oils, and then once that is done and that box is closed, you move on and you catch up. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Okay, so now we talked about not selling on the fly. So instead of selling on the fly and pulling out your modern essentials and your apps and all your oils and everything and overwhelming them, we are going to set up appointments. So this is what you would say in that situation. Usually what I do is I set up a time to meet. We will go over your health goals and anything you want to know about essential oils, doTERRA, and the most popular oils. My part takes about 30 minutes. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, of course, I'll help you order it. Is that something you would be open to? So again, you can see that this is very similar to actually setting an appointment, but what this enables us to do is to not be the crazy oil lady. I mean, we can be in secret, but when you're at a family function or at a social outing or any of that sort and somebody brings up oils, you look at them and you say, oh, usually what I do is I set up a time to meet. And you use this approach and it will help you compartmentalize that aspect of your life significantly. Does this make sense to you guys? Okay. So that's how you set an appointment. You either do it out of the blue or you transition from a regular conversation. So once you're actually in the appointment, here's the agenda. I've really been looking forward to this. First, we're going to chat a bit about your health goals and what you want to know about oils so I don't overwhelm you with information. Then we will go over doTERRA and some of the most popular oils. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, but if you see something you like, you can order it today. So what things do you want to make sure we go over today? So you can see here that this agenda, you mentioned this when you set up the appointment, but they've probably forgotten by the time you actually sit down with them again, and they're probably feeling anxious about the fact that they might be, you know, we tend to go into a sales conversation with our defenses up. So you can remove those again by saying, this is what we're going to talk about. You don't have to buy anything, things like that. So I know this seems repetitive, but it's really key in helping people understand that you're there to help them and they don't have to feel anxious. And after the agenda, it's really important to learn about their goals. So before we get started, catch me up. What are some of your overall health goals? And then the keys to this is saying, what else? And tell me more. Just to kind of prime the pump, because I think sometimes people are unsure about sharing, but you can, you know, kind of work with them on that. And also, as you go throughout your presentation, people are going to think of more things like, oh, I didn't know an oil could help with that, things like that, okay? And then the transitions, like the transitional part here is what do you already know about doTERRA? So rather than just blowing their head off, I could talk for 45 minutes easily nonstop without taking a breath about how amazing doTERRA is. But nobody cares and nobody wants to hear that. So let's just ask what they already know so that you can make sure that you're concise and helpful in your explanation. So the company story, doTERRA is the largest essential oil company. We help families use natural solutions for their everyday lives. People turn to us when their current approach to health is not achieving the results it was supposed to. They are tired of using chemicals for literally everything. They are confused by all the natural options out there and are overwhelmed when researching it. And they want to increase the overall quality of life for themselves and their family. doTERRA offers a full line of essential oil kits to help you and your family, whatever your health goals are. doTERRA has really raised the bar in the essential oils industry. They are the most tested and trusted oils on the market. This can be seen in their partnerships with over 120 research facilities and universities like Johns Hopkins. There are no fillers, no artificial ingredients, no pesticides, and no dilution. The plants are grown in their ideal environments all around the world, and every batch of oils goes through 6 levels of testing to ensure purity and potency. When you see a doTERRA label, you can be assured you are getting the highest quality oil and therefore benefits on the market. And doTERRA has really amazing customer service. If you don't like it and return it within 30 days, you'll get 100% product credit to try something else, or 90% returned back to your card. Okay, so anybody have any thoughts on this part about the company story or what it's like to try and explain doTERRA to somebody?
Are you going to send out these slides afterwards? Because that's a lot to remember and write down. I'd just like to study that.
Yes, Nikki, I am so glad you said that. I meant to say you don't have to worry about writing this down. I have it. I have this for you that I will get to you. So sorry. So you can just kind of experience this and think about what it's like. Yes. Okay. I think that it's really hard to communicate how, I hate to use this word, but I'm going to use it, how glorious these oils are without being too wordy. So I think it's important to talk about what makes doTERRA different. I think it's important to talk about what kind of people are turning to doTERRA so they feel like, I mean, there are 4 million people who have chosen doTERRA, but so that they don't feel like they're the only one, there's some, comfort in being like, oh, these are really popular and other people are making this decision too, So things like that. And I've never had anybody return an oil, guys, but I think it's good. This again removes the pressure. It's like saying you don't have to buy. It's the same thing. So it can be helpful. In the product explanation, some key phrases you can say. Earlier you mentioned, the bottom line here is what Brenda said. It's not about what I used to feel like, and I still catch myself doing this. I use this oil for this, or I use this oil for this. And what I'm learning is that nobody really cares. People care about themselves, and I don't mean that negatively. That's just the truth. That's just how it is. So I think it's really important to say you will use this for and help them that way. So you can say earlier you mentioned, or and you should have like your go-to examples. Like for lavender, you might want to sit down and for the top 10 oils, write out like, you will use this when you are going to bed, and this is how you will use it, or to get a good night's sleep. You might need a couple of just like, go-to examples. So you don't talk about lavender for 40 minutes because I could do that too. So here's an example for peppermint. Earlier you mentioned that you get head tension, and this is what you're going to use for that. Just massage it into your temples and on the back of your neck. Also, you know how when your alarm goes off and all you want to do is hit the snooze button? Put a drop in your hands and breathe it in to help wake you up, open your airways, and give you a boost of energy. Amazing, right? And lavender. Earlier you mentioned that you and your family don't sleep well. Just put some of this lavender in your diffuser and on your pillowcases, and you'll all sleep like babies. And when summer comes and you get those pesky bug bites, just put this lavender right on to help soothe them. Okay, so as long as you, and like 10 oils is, if somebody had the 10 oils from, those 2 basic kits in their home, they could pretty much conquer the world. I mean, you can pretty much handle anything that comes your way, and that's the truth. There are other oils that are amazing, but as far as being like, you will be really well covered, those are the 10 oils. So those are the ones we talk about.
Hey, Amy, I have a question, please.
Yeah.
What do you do with someone who bug bites are the least of their problems?
Mm-hmm.
That maybe they've been struggling with something that's a whole lot bigger for a long time, and we're talking about, you know what I mean? We're talking about that sort of thing. How do you handle that then if they give you something that's a lot bigger?
I can still apply, I'll answer this 2 ways. You can still apply just about any of those 10 oils to a bigger situation, whether that's like I can kind of talk non-compliantly, but whether that's like a chronic thing or like the big bad stuff, you can still use, lemon in your water, frankincense, things like that. So I can still use the 10 oils I'm talking about. And I have no problem saying, I'm trying to think of a health concern. arthritis. Let's just say arthritis. So Deep Blue, you know, that's bigger than a bug bite to me if I had to rank them. You will use this on your joints when you feel sore. This is how you will use it. Or frankincense, you will put this underneath your tongue every day to support healthy cells, things like that. So I still feel like we can cover that. Does that answer your question a little bit, Brenda? I lost her.
Sorry, I guess if you've got someone listening to some of these smaller things and in their brain they're thinking, you know, well, that's all fine and great, but I was really hoping that they'd work for something bigger. It is, so yeah, I think you can still allude to that.
My hope is that, okay, so my hope is that when I learned about their goals and what they wanted to know, that they would have divulged that, or that maybe I would have some kind of a read on that. I really would hope, and that's why we used to be, and I'm not saying this was a bad thing, but we used to be told to share our story. And the problem is, if I share about bug bites and how helpful oils are for bug bites, and you're sitting across the table from me and you have like stage 3 cancer, you don't care. And you're thinking, well, these oils can't help me. They're for little piddly things. And maybe then on the reverse side, my story was about how essential oils cured me from something amazing. Okay. And then you're sitting over there thinking, well, my kid just doesn't sleep at night, so these aren't for me. It's too small to share that. So I think it's really important to shut your mouth and to just ask questions to try and get them to share what's really going on, so that you don't end up saying something that makes them think, oh, I shouldn't share about that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the question. Thank you.
Yeah. I eventually will get there, Brenda. I just take some time.
It helps if I ask the question better though too.
Oh man. Okay. Saturday morning. All right. So let's talk about the clothes, guys. This is really going to be easy. I'm going to show you the 2 most popular kits. The Family Essentials kit. It comes with everything I showed you earlier, smaller size bottles, about 88 drops. It's 150. Then the Home Essentials kit. It comes with everything I showed you, but in bigger bottles, about 250 drops plus a diffuser. It's $275. If you were to get one of these, which would you prefer? Great. Let me tell you about my first appointment special, where you either can get a blend for sleep or for immune support free by ordering a kit today. Which would you prefer, some sleep or some immune boosting? Okay, great. Would you like to get the Home Essentials kit, since you said you'd prefer that, and get your sleep blend for free to take with you? And then you smile and close your mouth. And you can write up your order, and we'll talk about troubleshooting a little bit. I think it's really important to only offer just 2 options, and these guys, and they are the most popular kits. That's it. And I think it's important to talk in lingo that makes sense. If you say a 5 ml bottle, that means nothing to them. But if you've told them that you only need a one drop of oil, 1 to 2 drops of oil, and that this bottle has 88 drops in it, that means something. And I think asking somebody, if you were to get one of these kits, which would you prefer, is a pretty non-threatening question. That's my personal preference or thoughts on that. Do you guys have any thoughts about this close? I have another slide about it, but anything? Oh, go ahead.
I was just wondering, with those the roller bottles that you offer that day, do you use oils that are only in those starter kits, or do you go beyond that?
Yeah, I love that question. So I just bring, when I'm meeting in person, just the 10 oils with me. So I use, if it was for immune, I would use, my immune oils, and for sleep, maybe lavender and frank. So I use what I bring with me. So I think you don't have to offer a first appointment special, but if you want to, I feel like either bring an empty roller bottle and tailor what you're going to give them to what they shared. If they said they really struggle with allergies, make them an allergy blend, something like that. Or if you're like, too many decisions, just bring a bottle of wild orange or a bottle of lemon or something small that they can take with them that day. Does that help, Nikki?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So a little bit more on closing, like some different variations. Let's say you say, which kit would you prefer? And they say the Home Essentials. And then so you say, hey, okay, do you want to get it? And they say, well, I just can't afford it. Okay, so can't afford it, no problem. The Family Essentials Kit is really awesome at $150. You can still get the Sleep Blend too. Is that a better fit for you? Okay, that was pretty easy to say, right? And maybe they say, you know, I can't do that either. Then I understand. I always bring with me this cool intro kit, lemon, lavender, peppermint. It's $30 and it has the 3 most popular oils. And what's awesome is that you can take this with you right away and start using them. So what I've started to do is order those intro kits because they're so easy, because at the end of the day, I don't want them to walk away entirely empty-handed. You know, it would be great for them to either have something on the way or to walk away with something, because I want them to experience the oils. And if they get an intro kit, I would set up a follow-up appointment to help them get their kit, like the bigger kit that they had originally picked out. And if they say no to an intro kit, okay, no problem. Let me know how I can help if anything changes. Remember, they should leave there feeling awesome. And the other thing is, and I don't mean this negatively, but if somebody's not going to spend $30 on an intro kit, they're really not your customer. They're not there yet, okay? Or maybe ever. So keep that in mind.
Aim,
Yes.
what do you do then if you say, let me know if something changes later? Do you really wait for them to do that, or do you wait a couple of weeks and say, have you thought more about it? How do you approach that?
Personally, I would not reach out unless they reach out to me, unless like maybe they were in love with Deep Blue, and I knew that the specialist month was Deep Blue, and I might say to them, hey, take it or leave it. I just wanted you to know, I remember that you love Deep Blue. It's the promo this month. Like, if you want something, let me know. If not, no big deal. I hope you're doing well. That kind of a thing. The follow-up appointment is really important, guys, and it's important to set it there when you're with them, because it probably won't happen. And the other thing is, you don't want somebody to get oils and put them under their sink and not know how to use them, because people would probably be tempted to do that without a little support on like, how do I actually use these? So you can say something like, now that your first order is on the way, we need to set up a time to quickly go through how you can order on your own, get the best discounts, and get the most out of your new oils. My part will take about 30 minutes. How does that sound? So just, again, what we offer, what doTERRA offers is incredible with their oils, but what you offer is equally incredible, because I know that all of you are incredibly capable of caring for somebody really well, and they would be lucky. Like, they would be lucky to get that time with you. We can do it over the phone or in person. Which do you think would be better for you? And then you can give them 2 options. You know, we can do Monday or Wednesday, which works better for your schedule. And the last thing is asking for referrals. And I feel like a lot of times I hear people say that they run out of people to talk to. And if you learn how to do this well, you're not going to have that issue. And there is a way to do this that is in line with our culture and keeps that intact. So you saw me do it with Brenda. How do you like the presentation? One last thing, here's where you can really help me out. My goal is to help as many people as possible improve their lives through essential oils. The best person for me to meet with is somebody who cares about their health and believes quality is important. They don't need to buy anything if they don't want to, and all I will do is reach out and see if they would spare an hour to meet with me. If you're with them, you could say, go ahead and jot down 3 to 4 people who fit that description into my notebook. While you're doing that, I'm going to clean up this mess. Feel free to grab your phone. It makes it easier. If you're doing this with technology, you can, do it another way. But in person, it's nice to have a notebook. But this is, if you left them feeling awesome, whether they bought or not, I guarantee that they're thinking, oh my gosh, this would be so helpful for so-and-so or so-and-so. So why not help those people too? And 90% of people say they're willing to give referrals, but only 10 or 11% ask. And if you feel like you've got baggage on this one, it's hard to do. I will be the first to say that I have a hard time with this one. But if you can get this down, you will walk away from each appointment with probably like 3 to 4 referrals, and you'll have more people like that you can, more people than you can probably keep up with.
I have a question on that too.
Yeah, go ahead.
If they don't give you any referrals at that moment and they say, let me think about it, is that something that you chase down later or no?
Oh man, how would I handle that, Brenda? How would Amy do that? Amy would probably not bring it back up. Amy would reach, third person, I would reach back out because I will still be in contact with that person, caring for them and helping them with their oils. So it might come back up and I might see a window. And if not, then I probably should know that I needed to be better about how I asked.
Okay, so this just came to me. So what if you text them after the fact, even if they don't buy anything, or you reach out to them somehow? Can you then circle back and say, you know, thank you so much for your time. You mentioned you may have some people that would, you know, maybe that would be a way to sneak it in if you do a follow-up with them anyway?
Yeah, I think there's probably, I mean, I would never say black and white that there's not an appropriate way to do that, because I think there is. And so I think, yeah, totally. This is, I realize what we're doing in these past slides has felt very black and white, and real life is gray. But I think that if you have these tools and you have the general culture of customer first, team second, me and my ego third, that if you put what you're trying to do through that lens, yeah, you can do that. So, I mean, that's it. Again, I know broken down, it might feel like big, but it's really not. And it honestly, in the whole scheme of things, doesn't take that long. And I guarantee that if you implement this, not only will people walk away with oils that will literally like change everything, but you will have like maintained your sanity and your friendships and all those things, because you'll have drawn a clear line of this is my business time, this is my not business time, and it will make things, it's not perfect, but easier to navigate. Okay, so this next slide, okay, so some of you, this will make sense to your brain, and some of you, you'll be like, Amy, nope, you lost me, but just hang with me here. What I'm going to show you is a breakdown of, like, let's just say you are like, hey, I'm brand new. I love my oils. I want to share with people. What could this really look like? And you could go bigger than what you could triple what I'm about to show you. You could have it. It's really up to you. I'm just trying to give you a picture. Okay. So let's say you are like, yeah, I think I could do this. You set 10 appointments your first month, and you are going to profit your first month. 10 appointments is really only 2 to 3 appointments a week, which I personally, I don't feel like that's that bad, but that's me. So let's break it down. Let's say you are like, you know what, I'm just going to read from the script. I'm going to read the script to my mom, my sister, my best friend, people that are really close for me. You're going to get, if you do 10 appointments, you're going to have 7 sales, realistically. Probably 3 home essentials kits, and 2 family essentials kits, and probably 2 intro kits. Okay. So let's add this up. You got your $60 cash from your intro kits. You get 20% of the PV. You can see that here, the PV that a kit you sell. So that's called a fast start bonus. So if there was 895 PV total that you sold, you get a $179 check. So your total income is $239. Your product investment, with like the intro kits and shipping, I'm including shipping and tax in that. Let's say it was $115. So you profited $124 in your first month. And to some of you, you might be thinking that's small, and some of you might be thinking that's big. What I want you to know is this is the breakdown, and then you get to say, hey, I want that number to be bigger or smaller, and you just change the variables to get there. You know, this is about what you want it to look like, but this is just an example. Any questions about this? Okay, so I want to do just a little bit of, actually we're going to do Q&A in a second. I want to do action items first. So if you're not a part of my Facebook group, Fierce Leaders, I would encourage you to reach out to me and we can get you into that group. That's where you're going to find the scripts and different recordings and live videos and things like that. Just helpful tools. And I'm going to be doing this monthly this month, and maybe for the first couple months I might do it twice a month. But this is the kind of thing, like, you are welcome to come back to one of these. You are welcome to invite somebody to one of these. This is a very open, inclusive thing. Oh, we are here on the 18th. Do you like that? And the other thing is to just reach out. Like, if you have questions, if you're like, some of that made sense, some of it didn't, here's what I'm thinking, and you just want to talk this through, then reach out to who invited you to this, or to myself, or both, and we can hash that out. And again, it's not like you're committing to anything if you're not there yet, but if you're like, I just need to kind of talk this through, then let's do that. I consider what we did now a training, and then what I typically, if this is what somebody wants to move forward with, we do more of like coaching, like individualized, the part that I really love, and connecting that way. The goal would be to learn about you and what you want. We can talk a little bit more about compensation. I didn't feel like this was the time to overwhelm about that. Next steps and things like that. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to ask if anybody has questions. Everyone's like asleep.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
So 2 things. One, I have noticed when I've been doing the appointments that it's more effective. So I appreciate your tip on that. 2 things that come up in appointments regularly are, they want the diffuser, and they've noticed on their own that the AromaTouch kit has the diffuser and the fractionated coconut oil, and is also in that $150 budget range. I'm trying to gear them away from the AromaTouch kit, just because I know that the oils and the Family Essentials kit, that they'll use more, but they tend to gravitate towards that the last few times. So if you have any tips on that. And then secondly, I have 3 people who I'm meeting with appointments this week who say they just want oils for smell. They don't want to hear anything about any benefits for health. They just want to get a kit for smell.
Great questions. Okay, I'll do my best here. So for those of you who don't know, there's a newer kit called the AromaTouch Diffused Kit. And so you get 8 really great oils, but like what you're missing frankincense, oregano, breathe. There's some but frankincense is a big one to be missing, but you get a petal diffuser. Okay. So sometimes if somebody says, hey, I hope this helps you, Amber, maybe just hang with me here for a minute. If somebody says the Home Essentials at $275 is too much and can't afford it, then I say, great, would you prefer more oils, or would you prefer less oils and a diffuser? Okay, and if they say they prefer more oils, I would do the Family Essentials kit. And if they would prefer less oils and a diffuser, I would offer them the AromaTouch Diffuse. I feel like, Amber, it's a little bit tricky if they already come in knowing about it. That is a little bit tricky, but if that's really what they want, then I would just insert that as your $150 kit option. So I would offer the AromaTouch Diffuse, and I would offer the Home Essentials. Or even all 3. If you really want to do 3, it might be a little overwhelming. But if they already come in being like, that's kind of what I'm interested in, then I wouldn't totally fight it. Did that help at all on that question, Amber?
No, that did help. 2 people who got kits within the last few weeks now are like, oh, it didn't come with frankincense. Well, we discussed that. It didn't come with it. So now they're ordering it, which is good, but I feel like maybe I just need to explain exactly what each kit has better, maybe.
I really truly like the AromaTouch Diffuse. I have no issue with it, but I have found, just as you have, that everybody who gets it is like, where's my freaking frankincense? Either immediately or a couple weeks in. And I'm sad. I literally am sad for them that they don't have frankincense. I am. So I don't, unless they come in knowing about it, I don't bring it up unless I feel like that's where the conversation's leading.
Well, and the other thing is an oil camp, which is amazing. The oils that go over the oils that are in the Family Essentials kit, not the oils that are in the AromaTouch kit.
Exactly. That's the other reason too. I think that Oil Camp has been so helpful for people to use what they have. And when they go through and they feel like they don't have those things, they feel discouraged. And I'm like, not the point of Oil Camp. You're right, Amber. And if somebody just wanted oils for smell, I would smile. I would set up the appointment and I would tell them what they could use for smell. And I would also tell them, like, okay, lavender, you're going to smell this and it's going to help you feel calm and relaxed. Do you know what else you can do with it? Like, I don't know what your relationship is like with these people, but I still think that you could bring up other things. If your demeanor is that of, can we just talk about this? And if they're really closed, if they're 100% closed, then respect that they're closed and just talk about aromatic use.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question, Amber. Anybody else have anything?
I have a question.
Yeah, Brenda.
What do you do when it becomes about the diffuser? And what I mean by that is our diffuser is awesome, but you can get diffusers elsewhere. How do you manage that when they say, oh, that kit doesn't have a diffuser?
Mm-hmm. Like wanting to get a diffuser from somewhere else, you mean?
Yeah. How do you do that?
Oh man. Okay. So this is honestly what I say because it's the truth. This is one of those where I feel like I'm being reactive, so I have a hard time, but this is the truth. So I feel comfortable saying it. I've thrown out every other diffuser that I've bought because I can't smell the oil, or it's just been, they're crappy. They're in the garbage. And so the pedal diffuser, which is what comes with most of the kits, is what I have in every room of the house right now. Because it is my favorite, because it does work, and I'm so happy with the customer service. If I order something off of Amazon, ain't nobody helping me. Ain't nobody giving me 30% back, and ain't nobody helping me. So that's kind of what I say.
Okay.
With a little less snarkiness, with a lot more love. I mean, of course, you know me well enough, but that's pretty much what I say.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, guys. So I will have a recording of this. I have the recording of the other one. They go up on YouTube, and then I do put the links in Fierce Leaders. The scripts are there. It's all there for you. I hope I really that you found that this was helpful, or at least somewhat thought-provoking. And I really enjoy doing this, and I'm really thrilled that you guys get to go all have your Saturday, the rest of your day, and that it's only 10:45. So I appreciate you being a part of this, and I welcome any and all questions. Nothing is off limits with me. Most of you know that as well. So that's the whole thing, all right? Okay. You guys have a really good Saturday and a good rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.